Lately in HSM, we've been going through a series entitled Crossroads, or Choosing God at Life's Intersections. And a couple weeks ago, we actually gave out a survey to the students to share with us what exactly are the issues that they've been going through, what questions do they have, in other words, how can they better follow after Jesus in their faith and things like that. And one of the questions that actually repeatedly came up was, how can I have a better relationship with my parents? And so to answer that question simply is, you need to give your parent a hug. Okay, if we all gave our parents a hug, it would greatly help. Let me explain that to you. Number one, you gotta first hear their heart, not simply their words. Again, hear their heart, not simply their words, because oftentimes our relationships with our parents can seem like a list of rules, a list of do's, a list of don'ts, a list of haves, a list of have-nots. It's a lot of phrases like, you don't understand me, and I brought you into this world, I can take you out. And if we're honest with ourselves, if we take a moment and just back up, if we just kind of back up for just a second, and we understand that really all parents want their children to succeed, then we can understand the motives behind what they're doing and actually have a conversation really about the issues, and we don't have to take things so personal, but actually we can be encouraged by those relationships. What I mean by that is, to have a success in Christian terms is to love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and to love others as yourself. And so if we can understand that our parents want us to be successful, and that even though we don't agree with them, even though we do fight at times, even though we do question, we can believe that they have our best interests at heart, and that at least can begin the conversation so where we can move past any petty arguments that we have. So again, you have to hear their heart, not simply hear their words. The second thing is to understand that at one point in time, your parents were children. I find myself more than ever calling my parents, talking about the craziness of having kids now that I am, in fact, a parent. And I find myself as a parent a lot of times struggling, because you know what? The bottom line is, I've never done this before. I mean, it's all new. I mean, you can read books and do things there, but when you're up late at night with a kid, or they lie to your face, or they do something disrespectful, you have to learn how to respond. And so you have to understand that our parents are kids too. They went through similar situations, and they honestly, if we were transparent with their parents, with their situations, and open with what we're going through, I would guess that more often than not, your parents went through a very similar situation and can identify and maybe even give you some advice on how to move forward with that. So you want to hear their heart, but then you also want to understand that they were once children as well and can therefore identify with us. And the third thing is, you want to give beyond expectation, or to go beyond expectation. It says in Ephesians chapter 6, verses 1 through 3, it says, "Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother. This is the first commandment with a promise, that it may go well with you and that you may live long in the land." Here's the thing. It's one thing to honor your parents, or it's one thing to obey your parents and do what they say, but it's another thing to go beyond expectation and to go and give beyond expectation and to do something that is unprompted. When you do that, you honor them, you show them respect, you surprise them, and I'm telling you what, they will love it. I was going for a walk with my son the other day, and to be perfectly honest with you and transparent with you right here on this video, is that he was just being disrespectful. He was not listening. He was almost running into the road. I just was very irritated and frustrated with him. He just was doing his own thing, and he wasn't listening to me. And finally he calmed down, and to limit things there, I went ahead, because he was disobeying me, I went ahead and just picked him up and said, "Okay, you know what, Daddy's just going to carry you through this time, because you're not doing things well." And so I'm carrying him, and I'm a little irritated, and at one point Jack just goes, "Daddy, stop. And I was just kind of like, oh man, what's he going to do next? And he just says, "Daddy, I love you. You're the best daddy in the whole world." And how do you think my heart felt in that moment? It just melted, right? Like, it just melted, and the reason it melted is because that was completely unprompted. He went beyond expectation. I was not expecting him to say that in that moment. And so, I just, as a parent, loved it when my child does something like that. He was in the bath the other day, and randomly he's like, "Dad, come in, see this." And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "I'm cleaning the bathtub." And he was taking the bath soap and like putting it all on the edges. and he was wiping it down with a cloth. And the next thing he said was like, "Don't you think Mommy's going to be so proud of me?" And I was like, "Yeah, buddy, she is." And sure enough, when Mommy got home, it was really cute. He was really excited that he had cleaned the bathtub for his mom without ever being asked for it. And so the question is for us today, that if we want to honor our parents, the question is, are we willing to go and give beyond expectation? In other words, can you do the chore without being asked? Can you talk to your parents without asking them for money or something else? Can you pick up the phone and call just to simply say hello? Can you respect them and honor them? Can you make dinner for them? Can you bring them the paper? Can you come home an hour before curfew instead of 5 minutes after? Can you ask your mom or your dad out on just to have one-on-one time? Treat them to dinner with a little bit of money. You can go through, there's so many things that you can do that when it's unprompted and when you go and give beyond expectation, I'm telling you, both as a child to my parents, but then especially now being on the other end, being a parent, that it will mean the world to them. So how can you have a better relationship with your parents? Well, you want to hear their heart more than their words. You want to also understand that at one point in time they were children and can identify with you. And the third thing is you want to give and go beyond expectation. So give your parents a hug today and have a great afternoon. God bless.